Okay, anyways, check the answers, guys. This one here is a very straightforward one. They say that the circuit below lamp P and Q are identical, and it says that the ammeter reads a 3 ampere reading. So if there's 3 amperes here, you can imagine the 3 amperes flow and split here, right? Then obviously I know that here will be 1.5 amperes and it will be 1.5 amperes here also. And they also tell me that the cell EMF is 6 volts, and since these are parallel, I know that this is 6 volts and this is 6 volts also, right? And from here, I also know that this is going to be 4 ohm already, right? Based on calculation. And from here, calculate the current in the lamp, the passage through the lamp P. You're basically supposed to say 3 divided by 2, which is just going to be 1.5 amperes. Good. Right. Then after that, if the voltmeter was connected to the lamp P, obviously it's going to read 6 volts because they are all in parallel. And calculate the resistance of lamp P is basically 6 divided by 1.5, which is going to be 4 ohms. Easy, straightforward. Why didn't you go just now when you finished earlier? Go. Oh my god. Okay, then after that, they ask you the resistance of the 5 ohm and 10 ohm are connected in series with a battery of 3 volts. What's the total resistance? If it's connected in series, very straightforward, it's just 15 ohms, right? 5 plus 10 ma. When they ask you the current that flows, the current will be I equals to V over R with accordance to Ohm's law once again, right? Which in this case here will be 3 divided by 15, which will be 0.2 amperes. Very straightforward, very easy for this second question as well. Yes. Hey, please stop me if you have any questions that you did not get or couldn't do. Right. If not, I'm going to assume that most of you guys got it correct. Then for question number 5, look at the information. They say that there is 0.6 amperes that flow here. Right. Guys, try to make it a habit to label and draw your information. It's much easier to see and leaves much less room for error. If this is 0.6 and this is 10 ohms, then I know for a fact that this will be 6 volts already, right? And if this is 6 volts, this I know for a fact that all of them will be 6 volts because it's parallel. This one is according to the Ohm's law once again, V equals to I times R. Right. Then from here, they ask you to calculate the current flowing through the 20 ohm. Now you can do it two ways. You can either use the Ohm's law formula, which will give you I equals to V over R once again, and you become like 6 divided by 20, which is going to be 0.3 amperes. Or alternatively, you could have a look at and compare the resistance here. If 10 ohm gives 0.6 amperes flow, 20 ohm means to say a higher resistance, right? A higher resistance means to say there's going to be a lower current, and how much lower? Exactly half flow, because double the resistance means to say half the current. So here for sure is 0.3 amperes, depending on how you want to do the question. Okay. Then after that, they ask you to calculate the current flowing through the battery. If this is 0.6 and this is 0.3, here must be 0.9 for it to split, right? Because it's essentially 0.3 plus 0.6, which gives you 0.9 amperes. Once again, it's much easier if you can imagine the flow of current that goes down and right. The 0.9 will split 0.6 here and 0.3 here. Very easy and very straightforward. Okay. Then after that, they ask you to calculate the voltage in the battery supply. Yeah, you could either do 0.3 multiplied by 20 ohm or 20 ohm, or you could make 0.6 multiplied by 10 ohm. Both of it will give you the exact same answer of 6 volts. Okay.
Not wrong about that thing.
Yeah. Wait, 12, bloody hell. Wrong already. How come this one 20 ohm will multiply by 2? You're telling me that higher resistance will have even higher current here? Bro. Write this down. Do your correction later on. Okay, then after that, the next question here, what do they want? They say that each of the resistance in the circuit below has 10 ohm. Okay, they ask you to first calculate the resistance of the two parallel circuits. which is essentially 1/10 plus 1/10 lah, right? Which will give you 2/10, which is essentially going to give you 10/2, which will give you ultimately 5 ohms because you flip it out from here to here, right? You're supposed to get 5 ohms. Then once you have this 5 ohm, you can assume that these two combine together to become 1 5 ohm already. And I ask you to calculate the total circuit, the total resistance in the circuit. You're supposed to add this one with this one, which is essentially 5 plus 10, which is going to give you 15 ohms in total. Okay. Then after that, they ask you to calculate the current in each of the resistor here. You ask yourself, how much current is flowing here? I need to find the current by using Ohm's law once again, right? Which is V over R, which in this case will be 6 divided by 15, which is a total of 0.4 amperes. This here will have 0.4 amperes. It will flow here, meaning to say it will split to 0.2, 0.2, then combine back once again to 0.4. So the 10 ohm resistors are going to get 0.2. The two on top will get 0.2 each. And then the one on the side will get 0.4 ohms, amperes. So however you indicated it, it's good enough.
Wait, 0.2 each, right?
Yeah, because the 0.4 flows here.
Oh.
Right, then it's split, right? It splits into two, right? Because they are both equal resistance. Okay. And then after that, this one is a very straightforward one also. Total resistance of resistors 2, 5, and 10 if connected in series. Straightforward, almost brain dead. If it's parallel, then you have to do the parallel formula, right? Which is obviously a little bit more tedious, but not undoable, right? Yeah, shit. Which is going to be 10/8, which is going to be 1.25. Okay, yeah, 1.25 ohms. When in doubt, you can press in your calculator. Okay, then they ask you this. This is a theoretical question. In which arrangement will the current in the circuit be larger? And you're supposed to explain your answer. Obviously, you're supposed to say that the parallel circuit will have a larger current because the overall resistance of the circuit is much lower, right? And this is also the reason why all your electrical devices are connected in parallel at home. They will never be connected in series, because imagine if they were all connected in series. Number one, your TNB bill will literally sink a hole into your pocket. I mean, your dad's pocket, right? And number two is every time one of your electrical devices fail, the whole house starts failing together already. Okay.
Think so, one might be think of me. But I don't know which one.
It looks correct, but we'll find out. And finally, resistance 3, 6, 6, 12 are connected in, as shown. Right, so you have a very, very weird arrangement here. I have 12 volts, I have 12 ohms and 6 ohm connected in parallel, 3 ohm and 6 ohm connected in parallel, and these two are connected in series, guys. Now, a lot of students, they will always get very confused when they see these kind of questions. It's because they don't know what to do. Some students, they'll tell me it's 1/12 plus 1/6 plus 1/3 plus 1/6. This can only be true if they were all connected like this. Right, they were all connected in buildings. Then I can find the total resistance like this. But it's clearly not all connected in buildings. In this scenario, these two are connected in parallel. These two are connected in parallel. And these two are connected in series. So what I have to do is, right, I have to find out how much is the total resistance here, how much is the total resistance here. Then only I add these two together. This is one of the ways to usually do it. right? So first and foremost, they say calculate the total resistance when both switch are closed. Both switch are closed means to say they're connected like this. Means to say these two resistance and these two resistance. What I have to do is I have to do 1/12 plus 1/6 first, which will give me 3/12, which is ultimately going to give me 4 ohms. Here is just a combination of 4 ohms. Then here will be 1/3 plus 1/6, which is going to give me 3/6, which is going to give me 2 ohms. Here is a total of 2 ohms. Right, so the total resistance is only going to be 6 ohms here. Before I proceed, anyone don't know what I'm talking about? This part is very important. Always comes out in the exam one. So, anyone don't know what I'm talking about? A good 100% absorption rate, just what I like. Then, if everyone understands here, then the next part is basically just calculate the total current supplied, right? When both switches are closed. If both switches are closed, it means to say the total resistance is in play lah. And if I want to find the total current, is once again I equals to V over R again, right? Which in this case will be 12 divided by 6, right? Which is going to be 2 amperes.
I did an unnecessary number.
Very good. But you ultimately got the right answer. It's going to be 2 ohms. It's 2 amperes at the end of the day when both of it is closed. Okay, before I proceed on, anyone wants to clarify anything? Good. So if you have no questions, then the next part here is they ask you to calculate the current in the 3 ohm resistor when S1 is closed and S2 is open. S1 is closed and S2 is open. This is closed and this is open. Guys, if this is open here, you need to ask yourself whether this thing will it still be useful or not. If you imagine the flow of current is the best way, the current will flow from here, here, here. It could have split down here, then you realize that, hey, shit, you can't connect here, so it doesn't go here, right? So it'll flow here, 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 then you can split here, it can split here, then come back here. So effectively, this resistor is in play and this resistance is in play. It means to say this is the 4 ohm, but as calculated just now, and this is the 3 ohm as shown right now. So they ask you the current in the 3 ohm, right? I want to find out how much current is here, right? Total resistance right now is 7 ohms, right? And of course, using the I equals to V over R formula once again, 12 divided by 7, which is going to be a very weird number. What's the...
When I rounded, when I made choosing 5.14.
Huh? What? 1 point what?
5.14.
5.14. 12 divided by 7 is 5. You know?
Oh, sorry, what? Oh, wait, what? How the hell did I get this? 1.7.4.
You're stupid, man. Yes, 1.71. Thank you, Chloe.
What the? I got 12.7 and I got 5.
5. Even 14 divided by 7 wouldn't have been 5, but somehow we are the 12 divided by 7 equals to 5. I can see Gilbert's frustration in that maths already. Okay, but anyways, it's just 1.71, 1.71 amperes. Then finally, they ask you the current supplied when both switches are open. Both switches are open. It means to say, once again, you need to identify what's going on here. If the both switches are open, current can only flow here, 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 here. So effectively, there's only these two resistors in play here. And if there's only these two resistors in play, then obviously the total resistance can only be 9 ohm because this is connected in series with this, right? And once again, using 12 divided by 9, it'll be 1.33 amperes, right? I know for a fact that the final answer here will be 1.33. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, anyone's got any questions that I've mentioned so far? Anyone wants to clarify anything that you did not understand? Yuanhui, just now you said you were stuck, right? Which question were you stuck at? Oh, okay. Yeah, just imagine the flow of current. That will be much easier. Alright, guys. Anyways, I want to say, hey, did I give you your homework already?
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, anyways, I want to say that there is homework this week. I've sent the paper on WhatsApp already. Please download it and attempt the questions. I also want to highlight one more thing. This chapter, right, is essentially the most important chapter in the whole electricity chapter. If you can't do this chapter, right, you can almost kiss 2 questions goodbye in paper 4 already.
So straight up GG.
So yep, it's straight up GG. And yeah, so please do the exercises and we'll discuss the answers next week. Okay, everyone. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to stay back. If not, enjoy the rest of your night, ladies and gentlemen.